I reported some of the safety concerns that are happening at this store to OSHA, the store manager here misled OSHA and told them that you don't have to worry about the doors being locked of the store because you can easily get out into the garage on the first level that's on top of the store. I didn't really want to get into this in the past because I know it's kind of like but I overheard the management of this Publix make a comment about the display of the matzah and the way it was displayed and the amount of the matzah, and he said some very derogatory things. You can't get in and out of the store that way, so in the event of emergency in the store, this door is locked. You can't get in and out of the store, double door locked. And then there's one other door that's down that way, which is always blocked by a store officer who blocks a huge amount of crowd of youth outside. So this is Publix. This is the garage. The garage is 2 stories and sits on top of the Publix. That's the 3rd level. It's an eating area, and the store is actually on the bottom level. So the garage is above the Publix. The Publix is under this whole area, and there's no parking outside. Publix told OSHA, that's Dad, by the way. Publix told OSHA, which is obviously the governing body that you report safety concerns to, that Publix has a very easy, accessible garage that you can get to from the store's front entrance, and you could just zoom out onto it. It's so they misled OSHA a little bit because the garage is actually on top of the store, right? It's on top of the store, and we have to go down the elevators to actually get to the Publix.
You're actually also going down 2 floors because the Publix inside is 2 floors high.
And to get to there, you have to go down the elevators to get into the Publix. So, the store manager here misled OSHA and told everyone that there's no safety door concern at Publix because you just go out to the parking lot. It's like, where? How do I get to this? You can't get out that way from the front of the store. We are in the garage. We are in the garage, people. The garage is on top of the Publix. By the way, it is raining a little bit, but this is my community. It is a beautiful community. It's a little rainy today, but it is normally very beautiful. You see the buildings, the skyline. Normally it's all sunny, and I could show you that. And yeah, but this is my community, and that's why I'm willing to report things that are wrong or things that I see that are wrong, because I'm not going to let people who are doing wrong things chase me out of my community when you can just make the effort, even though it may take weeks, to try to get something rectified. So this video, we're talking about Publix and how Publix has been having some kind of sketchy safety concerns or concerning elements about the store. There's only 2 main entrances of the store. It's a huge mega store, and there's these 2 entrances to the store which are on the 1st level. There's no garage. The garage is above the store, so there's nothing.
This giant garage is the entire Publix.
Yeah, this is the Publix underneath there. So there's only 2 actual entrances that get you out of the store. You would have to go through the elevators to actually get into the garage. So when I reported some of the safety concerns that are happening at this store to OSHA, the store manager here misled OSHA and told them that you don't have to worry about the doors being locked of the store because you can easily get out into the garage on the 1st level that's on top of the store. See, we're on the 2nd level, and those are the doors that have been locked. So you have this main set of doors, and then there's another one that's over there. And during school days, this store is locking this door off, and you can't get in and out of the store that way. So in the event of emergency in the store, this door is locked. You can't get in and out of the store, double door locked. And then there's one other door that's down that way, which is always blocked by a store officer who blocks a huge amount of crowd of youth outside, and no one can get in and out of the store. When I reported it to OSHA, what the store told OSHA was that you don't have to worry about this because they said you don't need to worry about that door being locked, because you just very quickly, the store told OSHA, can get out into the parking lot and leave the store. It's like, the parking lot is on top of the store. These are the elevators, and then this is the front of the store. So you are, in reality, you want me to run up the elevator to then get out into the garage, to then run down the ramp. And I told that to OSHA. I'm like, the store manager lied to you. He's like, so the guy from OSHA is like, I don't know that. How would I know that? I'm like, you could look it up on Google Maps and see what the store looks like. And he's like, well, I don't know that. And I'm like, and then I was talking to OSHA on the phone. I'm like, OSHA rules. I said this to OSHA. I'm like, your OSHA guidelines, like, it's very easy to look up. Your OSHA guidelines says that every door that's a line of sight and entryway, exit, emergency exit, all that has to be open. Nothing blocking the door, nothing impeding someone's ability to get out through the door. It can't be locked at any time it's during a store's opening. That's an OSHA rule. It's also a fire safety issue. And OSHA said, you're focusing on that. You're just focusing on that, and you shouldn't be focusing on that. I'm like, isn't it an OSHA rule? And he starts screaming at me.
He's like, I don't care if it's an OSHA rule. I don't care. You're just focusing on that, and you shouldn't be focusing on that.
And he's like, the store has a right to protect the store from shoplifting. I'm like, but what about the people's safety in the store? He's like, well, the shoplifting comes first. And he starts screaming at me. And this is a person who works for OSHA. OSHA, good job hiring. Your HR team is doing a great job. This store has two main entrances, and I'm going to show you when we get down there as well.
Show that one too over there.
So, okay, so we have this entrance that's been locked, and then you have the other one that's over there. And they are locking it during school days. So essentially, and then the other one remaining entrance is completely blocked by a huge amount of youth that are actually stopped from getting in and out of the store because the officer is holding them at the front of the store, wanting to know if their mommy and daddy are here. So the customers actually can't get in and out of the one remaining exit and entrance. So you got that one that's locked, and then you have this one remaining entryway and exit, another duplicate one down here. And this one is blocked by a large group of people that actually can't get in and out of the store. No one can get in and out of the store because the youth are huddled outside of it, being held there by the officer wanting to know if their mommy and daddy are in the store. I reported this many times to the store manager. He didn't care. He basically said he didn't care. And they'll do whatever they want. OSHA, which obviously, unfortunately, their HR team seems to be hiring some people who are not, unfortunately, very with it, because I said to the guy from OSHA, you understand that your own rules, like your own bylaws and your own rules, like very easily come up, says no entryway or exit can be blocked and all that. He's like,
You just keep focusing on that, and you shouldn't be focusing on that, and you have to focus on the
students and whether they're shoplifting in the store. And I'm like, he starts screaming at me. It's like, I'm like, well, isn't this a fire code violation? He's like, I don't know anything about fire code violations. And it's like, you work for OSHA and you just told me on the phone that you don't know anything about fire safety or fire code violations. Again, HR team at OSHA, you're doing a fantastic job. Keep it up. So now we're gonna go into the store because it's a little warm up here. So we're gonna go downstairs now and continue this conversation. So this is the ground level. So as you can see, the store is really big, and this is one of the main entrances and exits. And during the school days, they are locking off this door, which is a main entryway and exit. And if you turn like this, you can see there's one other main entryway and exit there, which is also blocked off, in a way during the school days, because the crowd of youth is gathered outside that door there, and you can't get in or out because the officer there is holding the people. But this store has been rogue for a very long time. You got a female manager that works here. She went into the bathroom and she was like yelling at the women in there to like go to the bathroom quicker, and then she said they were embarrassing for going to the bathroom. I saw an employee here once cart surfing. She almost ran into everyone. And I didn't really want to get into this, but so we have the Jewish high holy days that are coming up actually shortly. And for example, this is the Sunny Isles Beach Publix. And as a comparable, I went over to Aventura. Both areas have a very large Jewish community. For example, this area, Sunny Isles Beach and Aventura, would not exist if it were not for the Jewish developers. You have three main Jewish developer families that built most of the buildings in here, and without them, this would be a swamp. because they are the ones that develop South Florida, literally, and own almost every building, development, and hotel in South Florida. So we are a very diverse area, which is great. I myself am Jewish, and I noticed that there's no, like, and maybe deep within the store, but they don't have like the display of like kosher foods for the holidays, for the high holy days. You go into Aventura Publix, they have like a balloon, like, and it shows like, you know, good for the holidays and everything. And here you don't. Last year around Passover, we did have a display here of kosher food and matzah and everything like that, and it was displayed actually right in the front where the water is. And I didn't really want to get into this in the past because I know it's kind of like you know, you're going there with this comment, and I come to this Publix all the time, so I didn't really want to go there. But I overheard the management of this Publix make a comment about the display of the matzah and the way it was displayed and the amount of the matzah, and he said some very derogatory things, and it wasn't acceptable. Again, now you're dealing with the management of the store, and he's made these comments, and it's like you're insulting people's culture, their religion, and it's like you have a job because of these people. They developed and owned every single one of these buildings. Literally, that building, that building, that building, that building, that building, that building, that building. Then we got the Porsche Tower over there. It's very nice if you guys are interested. It starts at like 5 million. It goes up to like 50 million. So if you're in the bracket of a $50 million condo, it may be for you. But, you know, not cool making those comments. We have a very diverse area. You shouldn't have a management of a store that's making those comments. And I noticed that the display of the matzah and the different, not necessarily time for matzah, but in general, the Aventura Publix has a big display of kosher food. And now I noticed that I don't see it here. I only see it in the Aventura location. Interesting. Like I said, the issue of the safety of the doors was reported to Publix. They did nothing. They basically had the attitude of, we don't care. I was very, very surprised because I talk about like a lot of the injustices of Universal and even Disney at times. And when you research Publix and lawsuits and cases of harassment of former employees and all this stuff, I was in shock how many claims there are against Publix. Like, you just wouldn't believe how many claims against Publix there are. Like, it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things on the internet. It makes Disney and Universal look like saints. It's like actually unbelievable. So the store did nothing about it. They laughed. Reported it to the city. The city didn't care either. I told them, you know, like, this is all violations and everything. So they've kind of gone mute. And so I went and I reported it to the fire marshal, like the fire prevention division of Miami-Dade. And they're like, oh, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, well, this is going on. And they're like, okay, we're going to send a fire inspector to Publix to see what's going on. So we have gotten an email response back from Publix. I'm whispering because like all their creepy employees are around right now. And they're like, so basically the last response was like, have you opened the doors, yes or no? And the manager from the store wrote back, yes. So we don't know if he's being cocky and saying like, oh, it's the weekend, so they're open, or like this is done and the doors are open and we're not going to violate like fire code anymore in the store or whatever. So we will have to wait and see, because I'm filming this on the weekend and I won't really know the answer till Tuesday, and we shall see. But I'll write them more emails if that's the case, and I'll call back up the fire inspector if I have to, because you can't like do whatever you want. You have to follow rules in society, and that's just the way it is.
Publix has been having the attitude of, we will manipulate the law to our benefit.
They do whatever they want. The city did nothing, but I did report them to the fire code, because you can't do whatever you want. It is a fire code issue. Publix can't just like lock off anything they want. And OSHA like was baffling. It's just like, this is what they're hiring today. Like, these people have no idea what they're talking about. It's like, how are you hiring people at OSHA that don't know code, that are like, he literally told me, he's like, I don't know anything about fire code. It's like, you work for OSHA. And then I'm like, but your rules on your site says that a door cannot be blocked. He's like, you just keep focusing on that. And he starts screaming at me. But we're gonna wait and see what happens, because it's a weekend now, so the door would be open anyhow. But we will see. We'll have to wait till the week to see if Publix has decided to not basically lock people into the store in a way. Yeah, but you could always run up the elevator to the So the garage that should be on the first floor, which that's, yeah. So to sum off this video, these are the doors that they lock during the school days. Then over here, you have the other door that is also blocked due to a large crowd getting in and out of the store. No one can get in and out of the store. But they did tell the OSHA that you just go through these elevators, and that apparently takes you out there to the parking lot, which is actually on the roof. But yeah, at least I have gummy bears. It makes everything make sense. Thank you so much for watching. I have YouTube channel memberships and I have Patreon. Subscribe, like, all that. And I will see you soon in my next video. And as you can see, OSHA, the garage is not outside. That's a shopping center. The garage of Publix is actually where I'm standing, which is on the second floor.
It's actually the third floor.
Third floor.